today we're going to talk about imports and exports within an audience. So I'm going to navigate to an audience and then we'll go into imports. So imports, what are they for? Imports are just a way to get your contacts into the Tarvent system. There's several ways you can do that. You can get contacts in through an import. I'll show you how once you do your initial import, you could just email us files after that. You can also use the API. You can use Zapier. You can use Make integration. So there's several different ways that you would be able to get your data into our system. If you have a very, very large system, we can work on more proprietary options as well. We do a lot of custom work with customers to build out solutions that are very specific to their needs that integrate with the Tarvent system. So we are developers at heart. We do marketing very well, but we also, the nature of what we do is building applications. And so that's what we're able to do depending on what your needs are. So now I'm going to go into an existing import first, just to give you an idea of what the results of an import would look like. And then I'm going to show you how to do those imports. So in this case, an import was successful, thank goodness. So the import, we imported 19 records. Of those, we had 0 duplicates. We added 18. There was some updated was 0, and bad was 0. So there might be a reason. Most likely, the records being 19 is because the first record was the column names. That may be why it was only 19, or it was 19, but only 18 were added. So normally that's the case. But if there was any particular reason that a contact didn't get added, the nice thing is that we're going to send you a file, and we don't just tell you that the import worked or it didn't work. That would be annoying. So what we do is we send you the import status, but we also include a file that has any sort of information in there. So we'll show you the record that wasn't imported, and then we're going to give you the reason that it wasn't imported. Either it was a duplicate, or it was malformatted data, or what have you. We're going to try to give you as much information as possible on a per record basis, so you know exactly what needs to be fixed for that record. We'll show you the import settings. Now, what I alluded to before was that when you do an import, you're going to do an import the first time manually, going through our screens to do that import. Once you've done the import the first time, then after that, assuming that your file stays the same format, it might have first name, then last name, then email address, and so on and so on. As long as that format doesn't change, then what we will do is we're going to give you this email address. All you have to do is send your new files to this email address, and we will do the import using the settings from this particular import. We'll do that, and then we're still going to send you that confirmation emails to let you know how it worked or how well it did. The nice thing about this is that you can integrate this in with your systems to maybe set up a schedule where it automatically emails us files periodically, and then we do the import. So it makes it really, really nice to have those imports go that way. We also have a status on here. So this particular import did not work well. So we're going to tell you to check your email, and we'll give you back all the data about that. Maybe there's just something not formatted right or what have you. So anyway, but that'll be included in the file. So now to do an import, I can say I want to import a file, or I can do paste to text. I'm going to do paste to text just so I can kind of show you what some of the data looks like. Now we can do tab delimited, comma separated, semicolon, or pipe. So the pipe is that key right above the enter button on your keyboard, straight line up and down. So you can separate it with that pipe. Semicolon, pretty sure, at least I hope everybody knows what a semicolon is, and comma separated, and so on. So I'm going to do one as tab separated, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. So I'm going to select tab, and in here I'm going to paste this text in here. So now this text, there is a tab between there. So all these have a tab. Now this one, it looks a little weird because the spacing's not quite right. Not everything is aligned, but there is a tab between each field. That's what it means to be delimited. It just has that standard character between each of your columns. So I'm going to leave this like this, and we'll see how it works when I click next. Now I import my data this way. Again, I can use a file and drag the file onto the screen or just select the file, but we're going to do the pasted text. Now I can choose what groups to import these people into. If I don't put any groups in, then it's just going to put them into the audience and not assign to any group. And we're just going to leave it like that for now. So I hit next. Now it's going to go ahead and import, process that data. And as you can see here, my first row does not contain column names. So I'm not going to check this box. If I did check this box, it's going to highlight this and it's going to think that those are the column names. Now, the cool thing about this is that when you check this box, if you use column names that match your data fields, then we're going to automatically map those column names to data fields and set that all up for you. And even if your spelling is a little bit off or you have spaces or whatever, we try to do a phonetic match to make sure that we can kind of cut down the time it takes for you to get the job done. Now, the other thing is we could do a skip field. So if we don't want to import this column, we can just skip it. Additionally, if I'm looking through here and I don't see first name, which I know it's a standard field that we have, but let's say it's not in here, the column that you want to map. It would be really annoying to have to cancel here, go into your data fields, add the data field and come back. So in our case, we just give you the option right from here, click the plus, and you can add in your data field. Once you add in your data field, it'll automatically refresh these drop downs and show that data field as an option for you to select from. So it makes it really, really nice so you don't have any stopping points along the way. You could just continue to do your work. Now, we did contemplate having it automatically. We know that there are some systems out there that will automatically add data fields. We hesitate on doing that simply because if you didn't type the name wrong or you didn't type the name correctly, then it would add a data field by default and you're going to end up having a lot of data fields. We didn't want to do that. So we do require that you manually add a data field if there isn't one there. But again, adding in a data field, all you really have to do is put in the name. You can specify the data type, otherwise it's just going to default to text. So you would put in a name, hit add, and you're done. So that is how you do this. So in this case, I would map this to first name, I'd map this to last name, and I'd map this one to email. So that would be how I do this. So now when I go to import, these three people are going to be imported into the audience, and their profile is going to have these values in these particular fields. Now, the other thing are the additional options. So you can update current contacts with imported data. So if you don't check this box, then what we're going to do is we're going to only insert new contacts. We're not going to touch any of the existing contacts. If you check this box to update, then anybody that exists in Tarvent already is just going to get updated with the profile data that you're passing in. So it's a good way to kind of make sure that the profile in Tarvent has all the information from your system, whether it be CRM or bigger ERP systems or what have you. Now, you can also unsubscribe. So let's say you don't use us to capture all your unsubscribes. You have your website that you manage everything through there because you have a huge elaborate profile system for your customers. That is totally okay. You can import that list of unsubscribes, check this box, and then we will unsubscribe everybody that you want to unsubscribe. You can also add in a status column in here or an opt-out date column, and you can specify the date of the opt-out, and that will also opt them out. Then you can also do this delete. So delete contacts is a little bit unique. What the goal of this is to allow you to synchronize our system with your system, meaning that when you import into our list, we're going to delete everybody from our list that is not in your list. So if we had 20 people and you import 15, then you could still do the update and insert, but the 5 people that we had that you don't have in your file, they will get deleted. So you could do that at the audience level, or you could do it for the selected groups. If I were to hit back and I had checked a box for whatever group, I can synchronize just a group, or I can synchronize the entire audience. So it makes it really helpful for that. Now, the only other thing is with this update, the really nice thing about this update is that if you have data coming from multiple systems for the exact same contact, then you can do update, import that data, and maybe import from system A has 3 fields and system B has 10 fields. And maybe there's some overlap and maybe there's some uniqueness to them. Well, you can use our system to merge all that data into a single profile by just importing those different files with their various formats, mapped to columns as need be, and then our system will take care of doing that insert and update. Now, I will tell you that when you do an update, updates do take a little bit longer than inserts. Inserts are very, very fast. Updates take a little bit of time. So please be patient when you do an update. It's just the nature of how these backends, these databases work. They just take a little bit of time. So if you're doing updates, then it will take a little bit of time to do that. It's still not a lot, but I just want to make sure that you know. Now, when you do the import, we're just going to confirm, here's what we're doing. I'm not going to do the import now, but we confirm it, and then we're going to send you an email with all the information about that. And we do keep that import data on our system for about 7 days. And the reason we do that is if there's an import, there's a problem. If you imported the file and it was just really, really bad and it messed up all of your data, well, sometimes we can use that data to kind of restore your list. You would need to give us a call and we can help you out with that. But we keep the data for a certain amount of time just to make sure. Now, if you're concerned about the security of it, all those files are stored encrypted at rest. So the file itself at rest, when it's just sitting on the disk, is encrypted. So everything is encrypted in transmission when you're sending it from your computer to our system. It's all encrypted, but we do store everything very securely to make sure that we don't open any additional security risks. So that's kind of how imports work. So you import your data and it shows up in the system, and then you can use it however you see fit. In fact, when you do imports, that can be linked to journeys. So when you have new contacts or updated contacts, that's going to fire off a whole bunch of different events. So you can have journeys that tie into that fire off as soon as a new contact is added to your audience, either manually through the forms or through an import. Now, exports. We truly believe that your data is yours, and we want to make it very, very easy for you to get your data. We are not going to hold your data hostage at any point in time. If we do, please call us out on it and let us know, and we will fix that issue right away. So now with that, I'm going to give this an export name. So I'll just give it a name of test because, I'm feeling creative today. So I'm going to put in a name of test, and I can't even get my capitalization right. So we'll try to do that again. I'm going to send this export to my email address, and I'm going to have this as a CSV, but I can do kind of the same thing on import. I can separate these out in various formats depending on how you see fit for however you're going to use that data. Now, then on that, I can export people based on a status. And then I can also select the groups that I want to export out. So maybe I don't want to export my entire audience. I only want to export certain groups. I can do that. I can then go in and change which fields. I can export everything, or maybe I only want certain data for whatever I'm doing. So I can select which fields that I want to export data for. In addition to that, again, your data is yours, and your data includes all the activity that happened. So any of the events that we're tracking, campaign events, those are also going to show up in here. So you can control all the event data that would get exported to you as well. So again, your data is yours. We try to make it as easy as possible. So those exports will happen. You'll get an email that includes a link to the file. We never ever send the file to you via email because that's not secure. We are definitely about security. And so we're going to send you a link so you can go download the file through our system. You're going to have to log in to do that. But it will let you know that the export is ready to go, and you can come back into this list and you'll be able to download that file. So, but the link will call it a deep link. It just allows you to go directly to that export. Otherwise, you'll be able to see it in here. The other thing is that these long-running tasks like an export or an import, long-running meaning it's not real-time, you'll also get notices. So there's notifications up here as well. So you'll get the email, but if you're working in the application, you'll get a notice to let you know that an import or an export is done, and you can control those notices for your user so you don't get them for everybody in your account. So that is kind of it on imports and exports. Again, like I've always said, if you have any questions, reach out to us in chat, in email, phone, comments to YouTube, social media, what have you. Whatever inventive way that you can get a hold of us, you can, and we'll be sure to make sure we answer all of your questions as thoroughly as possible. With that, have a great day.